Okay, let's start. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar. Today, we will talk about digital transformation in healthcare, collaborating with startups. I'm Margarida from Fabricate Startups, and it's a pleasure to have you all here with us today. This webinar is part of the Protechting program, an open innovation initiative led by Fidelidade, Zoom, and Hospital da Luz, and is organized by Fabricate Startups. We are inviting all the health tech, insurtech, and emerging tech startups to join us and apply. Can be startups from all around the world, and the applications are currently open at our website. The selected startups will have the chance to run sponsored pilots, join a roadshow to China, also can have industry insights, mentorship, networking opportunities, data access. Well, it's a really, really cool program, so you can apply at protechting.com. Today's discussion will focus on how digital transformation is reshaping healthcare, the challenges both institutions and startups are facing, also opportunities for collaboration. Now let me introduce you our fantastic guests, Nelson Brito, Head of Client Experience at Luz Saúde, Ricardo Moura, founder of the startup Gripwise, and Joana Melo, COO and co-founder of the startup Rise. Our moderator for today's session is David Magboulé, founder of Lab to Market and also a mentor for the Protechting startups since initial editions. Please feel free to leave questions in the chat box, and we will do our best to address them during the session, in the end of the session. And before we dive into the conversation, I would like to invite you to join us for our next webinar that will happen next week, and we'll focus on insurtech. That's all from my side. Thank you very much. Now over to you, David. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margarida. Hello, everyone. It's a huge pleasure to be here. As Margarida said, I've been, I think, a mentor for the program since pretty much the first edition, or if not the second. And I always say it's one of the best accelerator programs around Europe, and the opportunities that it gives you, not only obviously the possibility of doing, let's say, pilots and testing a solution with one of the top, if not the top, private hospital group in Portugal, but also insurance companies. But it also opens up doors to the Chinese market, which I think it's huge. And this is why normally you have applications from all over the world, and not just from Portugal or Europe. So it's great. It's an honor to be here. I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to ask also each one of the panelists here at this digital roundtable to introduce themselves as well. And it's a pleasure to be here with these guests. So I'm David Magboulé. I'm founder of Lab to Market. I have over 15 years experience in healthcare. I worked in biotech, pharma, medical device, and always in marketing strategy and business development positions. And now I've launched Lab to Market about 6-7 years ago, exactly to promote innovation in healthcare, so to help startups, researchers, and clinicians to launch their products into the market, helping them with their go-to-market strategy and with their growth strategy as well. So I'm going to hand over to you, Nelson, Joana, and Ricardo. This is the, for no specific order, just that's how you guys appear in my screen. So if you can just introduce yourselves, what you do at your company, and then I'll start over with the questions for the roundtable. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm the Client Experience Director of Luz Saúde, and I work inside of the group in the client area and in the transformation of digital process inside of the group. And nice to have all in this section.
Thank you, Nelson. Joana.
Okay, so thank you first of all for the invite to be here today. As said, I'm currently Chief Operation Officer at Rise. That is a startup that develops a system to monitor radiation in real time during radiation treatments, and a part of overseeing daily operations for the development and production of our device. I am the main contact for clinical and industry partnerships, and I have coordinated also the regulatory process of our device.
Perfect. Thank you. Ricardo?
Hello, my name is Ricardo Moura. I'm co-founder and CEO of Gripwise. And well, Gripwise, it's a startup which is a spin-off of the University of Porto, and we develop a solution for the assessment of physical frailty and risk fall of the elderly. And since 2020, we are trying to bring this technology to market, showing that there is a huge gap between active aging and healthy active aging and what we are seeing now, because more than 50% of the elderly in Europe suffer of some level of physical frailty. And we believe that we can help a lot to have useful, very useful and very active aging in the process.
Perfect, Ricardo. Thank you very much. So let's kick off this discussion. Nelson, I'm going to start with you, since you are, as a hospital, let's say you are the host of this program. And can you, I mean, actually, Margarida, I forgot to ask what is this edition, but it's been many editions as well. And it's interesting to see how Luz Saúde really collaborates with startups, in the sense that they can, I think I can say this, they can even, after the pilots, sign contracts with the startups and even invest in them. And one of the cases is Uphill, a Portuguese startup that's been working with Luz Saúde pretty much since the start of let's say their existence and their technology since it reached the market. And that is really a very interesting use case. Nelson, do you want to tell us a little bit on how this partnership with Uphill has evolved? And do you have any other use cases also similar to this, apart from this one with Uphill?
Yeah, David, just me first to share and to reinforce that normally our focus it's clear to reinforce the relationship with our clients and ensure a seamless phygital integration in our offering. And this is very important, because we strongly believe that if we don't do this, we don't achieve all the journey that a patient or a client can have with us. Second, we strongly believe that all the new ideas that come from the startups can make the difference in our client life and reinforce our business proposal. Like you comment, April, it's with us since the beginning, and we are trying to do things that normally the traditional market don't do, and we launch a lot of things in the last years, and we will launch new products in the near future together. But I want to share a new two different examples of. For us, this is an important initiative, because since the beginning, what we believe it is, we can make the difference and we can help each other with the startups and the big company like Luz Saúde, and put the things on the table. Just to give two another examples. I don't know if everybody knows, but we have a super app that it's by Luz, and since the beginning of this year, we entry in a different type of market, a subscription market that it's not normal to an operator like us, and we entry with all the experience or with all the passion that a startup that the name it's Habit Analytics. Since the beginning of the project, we built together the solution for our clients, and now it's available to the 1.5 million of clients that we have inside of My Luz. And this is just an example, a traditional player that to entry in the new market, that it's a subscription market like Netflix, like Disney or something compare with that. And now we have these products in a time frame, a reduced time frame, with new ideas, fresh ideas to our traditional business. The second example that I want to share It's another startup. The name is Agentify. It's that help us to put in 3 months on the market our digital assistant. And this type of examples that I want to share with all the people that are in this webinar, because I believe that help to realize that makes sense to be on this type of programs, and that can make the difference, not just for the clients, but for your business. David?
Definitely, yeah, I was muted, sorry. Definitely, I think what Nelson just explained now, especially with these 2 use cases, is that it's really within Luz Saúde's DNA to understand that it's important to evolve the technology, and also you have to rely maybe on existing technology which is outside of Luz Saúde to then incorporate not only for the patient but obviously for a better efficiency, let's say, of Luz Saúde itself. So thank you very much for sharing that, Nelson. Now, Joana, it's always good to hear the startup's point of view, right, of what it's like to collaborate with Luz Saúde, and especially in your case. Obviously, we are here to talk about the Protechting program also, and to share these insights and experiences. But we also have to state that Luz Saúde has, let's say, an open innovation mindset of a continuous collaboration with startups, even if it's with the existing testbed at the moment. And this was your case. You're collaborating with Luz Saúde, even though it wasn't through Protechting. So how's that going for you?
Yes, so actually our interaction with the Hospital da Luz started a few years ago through other program, but I think there are some points that are similar or equal what the companies can expect from the Protechting program. So we were able to do a pilot in an early stage of our product, where the scope was mainly to explore new ways to use our device, and also to where we could take some decisions based on what we had as an opportunity that could meet their needs and their expectations since the beginning. So this was quite helpful because we were able to develop a technology that was fully adapted to the clinical workflow and the user's needs. So I think that is much important for any startup that is developing a solution for the healthcare system. More recently, we were doing a pilot with a different purpose in a more advanced stage of our product, where we wanted to collect all the evidence that we needed for the FDA submission that is required to sell our product. So the scope was a little bit more close, but the engagement and the motivation from the clinical team was the same. So, and that is a big difference when we are trying to bring an innovation to the market. Important aspects to make these pilots successful. Of course, it's the motivation and the openness of the clinical team, to have also very clear objectives for the pilot, and also a clear communication between all the teams. And here I would like to also to highlight the commitment from the Learning Health department inside of the Hospital da Luz, because besides the testings themselves, they were always able to open other doors inside of Hospital da Luz, and make some introductions to other departments like the IT department, experts in the insurance, and so on, where we could also validate our business model and to practice our installation, or how a sales could happen inside of Hospital da Luz. And for different stage of the companies are these small things or small conversations that we may have during a pilot that could make a huge difference in the final result of any pilot. So I think we are having a very good experience with them. Fortunately, we have done many pilots in different hospitals, but of course, the Hospital da Luz has been essential to move forward and to bring this solution to the market. And just as a final remark, I think it will happen in the mid-November. We'll do a submission, and this contribution from them was a big difference.
That's perfect. Congratulations on it. I hope the submission goes well and it gives you very positive results very quickly. I want to highlight a couple of things that you said, which I think is very important even for other startups to hear, which is really how, and I know also this by fact that the Learning Center, I would say, which works as the innovation department, is really the first entry point, and you want to present a startup, and they very quickly liaise with the clinical teams or the business operation teams, whichever the focus of the startup is with technology, then very quickly to get the validation if there's an interest, right, and how we can work together. But also the fact that it's a continuous relationship, right? It's not just for the pilot or just for these specific indicators or results. It's ongoing. As you said, they can open up doors to other departments. And what I think is really amazing is, again, and it shows also the scope of the program itself. It's not just focusing on Portugal or Europe. I mean, you're getting the clinical validation and the data needed for the FDA submission, right, in the US. So it's really interesting that, you know, the open-mindedness or the international mindset that the group has as well. Perfect, Joana. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Now, Ricardo.
And also,
yes.
And they are open to work with startups in different stages. So it's important for any stage. So they are able to cover the full life cycle of a product. So that's
you've been collaborating with them for how many years?
So we started in 2021.
Okay, so you've been early stage and then you've moved to
even during COVID, we were able to keep our collaboration.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. Thank you, Joana. Now, Ricardo, over to you. Because you participated in the most recent edition of Protechting, and not only finished in the top 3 finalists, so you managed to get a pilot, but you managed the best of both worlds because you got a pilot with the 2 companies involved, which is Luz Saúde and Fidelidade, the insurance company. So tell us a little bit about your story and your experience.
Yeah, thank you, David. Well, that's true. We won we won last year's Protechting program, so we began with them, and as Joana was saying, the openness was full. So we went to Luz Saúde just 1 week after we begin the process, and we saw that there was a need. They were asking us if we could provide a solution for that need in the hospital at the Hospital da Luz, and we began speaking with several professionals, health professionals from very many areas, and learning health is really, as you were saying, the basic connections to all the other areas of the hospital. And we began by that. So we have the acceleration program in which we saw the Fabrica of Startups bringing a lot of mentors and a lot of knowledge to this process, because we are in a space which is not very crowded in Portugal, at least, shall I say, which is health space. So you don't have too many entities that can provide you knowledge in this space and bring you connection with entities that should be the ones that would buy your technology. So all of this process, bringing you together with the mentors and afterwards with the professionals, was very interesting. Obviously, you need to also work with them and be completely on this. So be interested in providing as much as you can, show them the work you can do, and move forward as you can. And obviously this has a payoff afterwards. So what happened was that we began by doing creating one accessory from scratch. So we had a technology that was abroad, and we usually was built for assessing muscle strength from the hand. But we created a new accessory to be tested and to assess the adductors and abductors, so assessing the lower limbs in terms of muscle strength. And we created this with and now we are just in the beginning of the tests, and not beginning, just going on with the clinical validation with them. So this was a process that took some time, but we were very happy to also be selected by the program to go to China, to the Chinese program, and all the openness that was surrounding the program helped us, for example, to continue and connecting with other entities and other people, namely in Fidelidad. Everyone was every time very open and open to hear us and understanding what were our conditions and what we were providing, possibilities of offering solutions for them. And as we went to China and we came back, we could create a new pilot. So we are beginning a new pilot with Fidelidad also in Sofia. So we are bringing our solution to the assessment of muscle strength, also in providing this solution at with nurses to go to the homes of people that need to understand their level of muscle strength and also physical frailty. And this is just beginning next week. So it's something that, as it was mentioned since the beginning, it's real. It's real. In the group, you are talking about the biggest insurance company in Portugal at this moment. And they provide you the access to other possibilities. And in this case, they were able to see the opportunity of putting our technology in this environment, which was really amazing for us, and gives us the perspective of the professionals that are going to be working with the technologies. And we are going to test not only the technology that we have already, or we had already previous to the program, but also the new accessory that we are developing with Luz Saúde, so in the digital mode. So everything is really connected, and it's amazing the way that we can speak with them, be explanatory in all the settings. So it has been a great journey, and I think you are going to know a little bit more about China afterwards. So I'm going to stay here. But in this part of the program, it was really interesting to have this opportunity. And I think that probably is just the beginning, because we are working with them and seeing things appearing and results appearing also. And I think everyone feels that they are doing their job, and the things are working. So in that sense, they open you the doors. They are not completely opened in the beginning. You need to knock on the doors and afterwards show yourself and prove that you can do the things. And I truly think that after that, you can evolve inside of the whole group. Luz Saúde, Fidelidad. I truly think this can be achievable, and we are a proof of that.
Indeed, and hopefully you can your collaboration with them can go as long as New Rises, which has been going on for more than 3 years, almost 4, and hopefully yours will as well. And exactly what you're saying, there's some hustling to be done in the beginning, insisting, knocking on some doors, but then things move forward. But as you're saying, I'm very curious to know how. And I just want to say something else. Normally, from experience, and it happened also last year, you don't have to finish in the top 3 to do a pilot with the group. A lot of the times, even if you're top 5, top 10, even I've seen in the past, there can be a real interest of moving forward with the pilot. You might not get the roadshow to China, but at least you get guaranteed the pilot if your solution is good enough and there's interest. So I think that's also a very good thing to mention about the program. But now, Ricardo, take us to China. How was the trip? We want to know not all the details, but a lot of the details. How did it feel? Was it your first time in China? And what happened there?
Yeah, it was my first time in China. One of the things that I was amazed about was the dimension, how many people everywhere, and also Fosun, which is a huge group that I have to tell you, we can read it, but it's not the same when you see it. It's completely different. And my experience with them was really amazing because and this is a feeling that I have in the whole program, is that I'm meeting friends, professional friends that you can say that they are really cool people that work. They want to. You need to work, but in the end, it's a good feeling, and I felt that even with Fosun, everyone in Fosun was really very charismatic in the way they show the things. I never expected to see that huge group and the way they mix the tradition and the innovation. So we went there, we went to 4 cities, big cities. For example, the Hangzhou, the first one, had 12.5 million people. We went to Alibaba, we went to a lot of places that we saw a lot of innovation that I wasn't expecting, for sure. And afterwards, we went to Shanghai and we saw what they had at Fosun, a mix between skyscrapers, that they have their own area, big area that where Fosun is located. But afterwards, they also have the traditional mode. The commercial side of the city in Shanghai has a lot to do with Fosun. So it's they are really big, and the way that you can reach with Mr. Lee, for example, the president of Fosun Foundation, it was just like I'm speaking with, but in person, speaking directly with them easily. It was really amazing, and I love the situation. So, and afterwards we went to other places where we represented them. So as you can see, this was an honor because we went there representing them on the Web Summit of Asia, which is the Beyond program. So we went there, we presented ourselves in a big place in Macau, and we were just pitching what we did and what was our solution. So into a huge market like Chinese, and also we went to universities. There was the opportunity of creating great partnerships. That I truly think that the biggest thing for us is how can a small company like ours can look at this huge opportunity, but also challenge and try to take something from it, which is very difficult. So for now, so we need to understand how to go there, but we now know how it is, and it's important in this stage.
No, it's interesting, and thanks for sharing the story, because it's not just the fact of apart from visiting a country, but the possibility of doing business with the group, but they also give you the possibility of doing business with other stakeholders in China, because you attend that event as well in Macau, but also looking at different innovation and reference companies, like you said, Alibaba, which is also, at least to say the least, inspiring, right? And to open your mind as well. So that's really amazing. Thanks for sharing the story, and I hope you get also some good results out of that trip in the near future. Nelson, I'm going to go back to you and ask, you mentioned at the beginning that Luz Saúde, and especially in your role, you're looking into the phygital world, not only from the patient perspective, but also in the offering of Luz Saúde as a hospital, as a care provider. And obviously this is very important nowadays with the technology we have, even with home care, remote patient monitoring, etc. which other areas would you say are also critical for Luz Saúde, or what other areas are you guys looking for solutions as well?
David, it's a good question. The point normally in the traditional model of a hospital, we just wait that normally the people get sick, and the transformation that we have in the market, it's huge, and we want to have a conversation every day with our clients, and all the things that can help us to maintain that conversation before the people get sick. It's very important to the patients, to the clients, and to us. And this is the way we try to build our ecosystem. It's to try to maintain everyday conversation with the customer. If it is by monitoring, we do it since 3 years ago. You can enter, for example, in My Luz, connect My Luz with your iPhone or with your Android smartphone, and we have all that information, all that data in a daily business to do something. But that it's the new area. We are not just a hospitals and clinics network. We are more than that. And what we are building, it's an ecosystem that it's focused on healthcare, but that can help us to maintain the dialogue every day, every minute, and try to anticipate that the people need to be with us, and that it's the present focus. All the new ideas that can help us to reinforce this type of relation, we are very, very open to analyze and to have that type of ideas inside of our ecosystem.
Thank you very much, Nelson. I believe that when you mean a constant dialogue with your clients, the dialogue and the information, the communication goes from knowing in a normal English language how they are, all the way to vital signs and knowing and getting the data every day, and sorry, someone's calling me, and getting the also the experience within the hospital, how are things are going, etc. So it's all into a dialogue, right? But a constant exchange of information.
Yeah.
Between the hospital and the patient. Well, thank you very much for that insight. I think to everyone who's listening and seeing us, if you think about applying, think about the solution you have and how you can benefit the group. I don't know if Joana, Ricardo, you want to add anything else, or I'll leave now the floor to any open questions, and Margarida, if I think we have already Q&A, if so we can then interact with our listeners and viewers.
Yes, thank you very much, all of you. It was amazing to hear all the experience. It's really important for us to understand that protecting really makes an impact. David, we have several questions here. I will read one to you, and you will decide who will respond. So, what advice would you give to startups entering the healthcare sector for the first time now?
I think I can answer that if you guys
Okay.
if you guys agree. Know me as a mentor, and with experience in healthcare sector, and then obviously Joana and Ricardo can also, and even Nelson can also confirm. I believe if you're entering the healthcare sector for the first time, get to know the healthcare sector a little bit first. I'm not saying come in with the mindset of the healthcare sector, because I think it's good to have people from other sectors coming into the healthcare sector to change a little bit the mindset, because it's good, but you need to understand how complex it is. And I'm going to give you a very quick example on things that I tell startups normally is whenever you have a technology and you're thinking about your business model and unique value proposition, don't forget that you're not just selling to the patient or to the hospital. You have to convince your idea to the hospital manager, the nurse, the doctor, the patient, the caregiver, the CFO of the hospital, etc., or the payer in this case, or the buyer. So it's really, and each one of them, you might have the same technology, but you have to make sure that each one of them understands what's in it for them, because obviously the CFO wants to see a reduction in price or etc. The doctor wants to spend more time with the patient, etc. So there's for the same technology, the message could be a little bit different, and you need to understand the complexity, and then obviously, I think it doesn't have to be the elephant in the room, but I think we have to take it seriously. And the startups that have taken it seriously from the beginning, they're the ones who are more successful now. Is we need to understand that going into healthcare, there's a regulatory landscape and there's a regulatory pathway. And I was reading a post just this afternoon on LinkedIn of a guy who's more into regulatory aspects. He's American, and he gives lectures about it. He was just saying, you know, the wooden stick that you put in the tongue whenever you doctor it, and he goes, and then you have to put it. Even that wooden stick is a medical device. It's a class 1 sterile, etc. But that's a medical device. So you need to understand that if you're gathering data, generating data for your patient, generating data from a clinical perspective, etc., you're definitely a medical device, whether it's a software, whether it's a product, or etc. So don't run away from it, because then it's going to haunt you later in the future. But just accept it and get prepared for it. And investors who are focused in healthcare, they're okay with that. They understand. So again, understand the complexity of the sector. Don't forget that there's the mission behind the purpose is amazing, because you're saving lives, but then there's the regulatory aspect to make sure that you're actually saving lives and not killing people. So make sure the regulatory part is very important as well. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else to it.
Well, I would like to reinforce that medical device regulations, and my advice would be to not ignore this since the beginning, because it relates to the full life cycle of your product. And as quick as you understand this, better for you. And the other advice I would say is that we have 2 years and 1 month, so we should listen twice as much as we speak. So these together with collaboration and innovation, healthcare can go to new heights. So it's my final advice.
I just reinforce 2 or 3 things. First, it's a complex market, but it's a market that makes sense if you have a strong purpose for your life, because you can change the life of the clients that normally need the healthcare sector. The second point, it's need to be very clear, and David reinforced a lot of that. For us, some MVP, the scope can be reduced, but need to be 100% with security and safety for our clients, because we are talking about life, and 0.5% of error or of a mistake, it's a problem to us. And it is better to start with small steps to do big steps in the near future. But never forget that we are in the healthcare sector, and the doctors and all the rest of the people treat the life of the people and the customers, and that make the difference.
Well, if I may, I would like to add something also. So this is, for me, I think the best thing to do is really apply to this kind of program. So you are going to have someone that can firstly look at your value proposition. So look at what you are proposing in terms of application, and give you a first feedback of if it makes sense or not. And afterwards, if you have if you are happy to get into it, you will be you are going to have the opportunity to speak with the ones that should be using your technologies. So this is very valuable. And obviously, all the things that we were saying just previously, all the data, that it's really important in terms of the validation of the solution, all of the experience needed to show you if your product is safe enough or not, and if it makes sense in terms of clinical practice, it's here. So my advice would be this one: try to do this in a program like Protechting. In the healthcare space in Portugal, I don't know other like this, so it makes a lot of sense. So, well, apply. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I think it's good. It was a open and give their own views. Now, Margarida, if I may, regarding the other questions, the first by Nuno of Loop that I know, I think it's a question that maybe Margarida, if you want to share an email, if people have doubts about the program, then I think this can be it's quite specific and it can take us a while to reply here. Nuno, I don't know if you agree with that too.
I can just tell Nuno that we have here, Nuno was asking about which kind of pilots or collaborative projects we have here in Protechting. So we have 2 examples here, and you can find more successful stories on our website. And also the pilot was asking more about the pilot, and the pilot depends on the product, on the service. So each case is different. So let me go to the last question. I don't know if I hope that it's will not take much time. It's what role do you think AI will play in improving patient care in the near future? And it is the last one. Okay, that's a very open we can do a whole webinar about it. Another one. So let's just we will have a webinar about AI. So maybe we can go deeper into this subject later, but just to give an answer to this one, and we will finish.
No,
I don't know if Nelson wants to.
No, I can. Okay. If in all the sectors, AI will make the difference, especially to the people that don't want to use the AI. It's the real truth. We are just in the beginning, but we will leverage all the service that we give to the customers. But first step, it's security and it's safety. And we are starting with baby steps, but AI will transform in the near future the type of activity all the stakeholders in the healthcare play. But as we commented before, more than 2 hours just to give you idea of AI in the health sector. Great.
I mean, I agree. Now we have more and more questions coming in, but I also agree, and I think we already see the benefits of AI both for patients, both from the clinicians as well, and again, maybe going back to for the startups linked to the program, you can see in the past a lot of cases of really how AI is leveraging the quality of care. And so I think it's going to give a boost to everyone, not just the patient, but also for the clinicians to improve and have more data, better access, faster answers, faster diagnosis as well, and faster treatment even, because you have a lot of AI linked to drug discovery as well. So that's definitely one of the cases. So yes, indeed, a very critical role. Regarding the other questions, Margarida, I don't know how you want to.
I will send a message to the ones that we could not answer now. I hope that you can. Thank you very much, all of you. It was really, really interesting to hear your experience. We will have another webinar in 2 weeks. Previously I said that is next week, but now it's in 2 weeks, about InsurTech, and after we will have another one about AI. So I hope to see you here. And if you are a startup, please apply, and we will read your application carefully. Thank you very much, all of you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
everyone. Thank you very much for the digital roundtable, for your input, and thank you everyone who were listening and viewing us. So I hope to see you at the next edition of Protechting. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of the